The hell are you supposed to be?
I'm vengeance.
Hey guys, welcome to the Geek Up. We just saw The Batman.
Yeah, we did, everybody. Is this like 10 millionth reboot? Finally the one that's going to get everybody to like, yes, this is the kind of Batman we want to see? Stick around because we're about to find out.
All right, guys, it's time for another Batman movie. Who we got in this?
All right, man. We got, and I wasn't too impressed when I heard this when I first did it, but we got Rob Pattinson playing Bruce Wayne / Batman, and he did okay, I thought, you know. We got Zoe Kravitz playing Catwoman. We got Colin Farrell playing Penguin, right? And I tell you, man,
That blows my mind.
Dude, he looked nothing like Colin Farrell, right? And I was like, damn, like when I saw that it was him, I was like, there ain't no way in hell that's Colin Farrell, because it did not look anything like him. But it was Colin Farrell, everybody. All right, we had Andy Serkis playing Alfred. Love Andy Serkis. Dude's awesome. Yeah, Jeffrey Wright, Commissioner Gordon. Yeah, so we had a lot of people in this movie, man. And,
so let's talk about the cast real quick. Robert Pattinson as the Batman. What'd you think?
I thought he was all right, man. I thought it was kind of weird going with the young Batman, you know, because and even like whenever he was Bruce Wayne, you know, he had a lot of people calling him Kid. You know, a lot of people in it was calling him Kid. You know, so evidently it's a very young Bruce Wayne in this one. You know, and I wasn't sure how I felt about that. You know, but I don't know. I guess it was okay, but
It didn't bother me at all.
I mean, it kind of bothered me, but but I thought his acting was fine. Like I thought he did a fine job as Bruce Wayne. I thought he did a fine job as Batman. His acting was okay. You know, the acting didn't bother me.
I'm a little unsure, like when this takes place, how old he's supposed to be, because they don't get too much into that.
No,
but it seems like he's rather young.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, Falcone keeps calling him Kid. You know, so it's like, what is he like in his early 20s?
Well, I think
like,
he calls him Kid because in his mind he saw him as a kid, so that's always kind of, I think.
Yeah,
fresh
but Penguin calls him Kid. You know, and he just, you can tell he's a young, you know, he's supposed to be a lot younger than I think, like, you know, our, you know, the last Batman series we had, you know, so with the, you know, with Justice League and Batman, you know, what was the last one? Batman, Superman, all that. I think this probably predates that, right? He's probably younger than that Batman was. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I felt about that, but
I was a little nervous when I heard Robert Pattinson because I'm not a huge Twilight fan or anything like that, and I just had a hard time seeing him as Batman. But he did good in Tenet and some other movies, so he's kind of on the up and up.
Yeah.
And he did, I thought, an amazing job as Batman. I mean, he has a good face for the suit and a good voice and all that stuff. But I got to tell you, I was not impressed with his Bruce Wayne portrayal. First off, Bruce Wayne's hardly in this. He's not really playing Bruce Wayne much. And he's not doing anything business-like, really, with Bruce Wayne.
No, well, the thing is, Bruce Wayne, man, like, Bruce Wayne's got charisma, right? He's sure of himself, and you know, and you just don't see that from Rob Pattinson as Bruce Wayne in this. You know, he don't have that charisma. He's allowing people to call him son and stuff like that, and like, you know, so like I said, I wasn't digging that, and like you said, there's not a lot of Bruce Wayne in this. You know,
yeah,
so.
and I think, like, if you look at the lore, like, Bruce Wayne can do a lot of good as Bruce Wayne and a lot of good as Batman. So that Batman's only like half the coin here. You know what I mean? And when he is playing Bruce Wayne, he needs to be more charismatic because that also is a disguise for Batman. If you just go around with a straight face, like acting all grumpy, then people can probably put two and two together, you know, because you're showing your Batman face all the time.
Right,
you know, you're not showing the acting side of being Bruce Wayne.
Right.
You know, the man in the mask is him being Bruce Wayne, and he ignored that side.
Yeah, I mean, where's the ladies' man Bruce Wayne? You know, where's the charismatic Bruce Wayne? You know, the guy that, you know, we've all kind of grown to love in the comics and in even some of the earlier movies. You know, so and like I said, you don't see that in this.
Hardly any Bruce Wayne, though.
But you are right, man. Dude's definitely got the face for the Batman costume, man. I mean, he rocked it as Batman, no doubt about it. You know, I give him that for sure.
Yeah, I almost felt like it was like very similar tone to the Christopher Nolan ones. Like I felt like it was almost in the same universe.
Yeah, it was
like,
dark. Yeah, it was definitely kind of that dark tone to it. And you know, so yeah, no, you're right. It did feel kind of like the same universe. You know, when you're looking at it and you're kind of sitting there watching it. 3 hours, man, that was a bit to chew on. You know, I was like, damn. And you
3 hours is long, really, in the theater for any movie.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I felt every bit of that 3 hours when I was sitting there watching it.
Yeah, and I felt like this really could have been cut down. They started going, I think, for some cinematic, like just artistic stuff that they were doing, especially at the end. This movie goes on beyond the actual climax of the ending for far too long. It shows them like riding off into the sunset, going different ways, and I'm like, you could have cut this like 10 minutes ago at the least right here.
Exactly. Well,
they look beautiful, but I'm just like, you're past your runtime. You need to start cutting some things.
Well, the one we did see too is as far as being young Batman, young Bruce Wayne, this is pre-Commissioner Gordon, right? At this point, Gordon's just a detective. Maybe a lead detective, I guess. He seems like he's taking charge a lot and a lot of the stuff going on, but he's not commissioner yet. And and there's a lot of corruption going on in Gotham, and then he's trying to not be a part of. He's one of the few non-corrupt cops like in the whole freaking show, I think, or in the whole movie. And and I thought Jeffrey Wright did. Jeffrey Wright's got that Jim Gordon look to him. I thought he did a great job playing Gordon. They pick a black guy to play a white guy, but in this case, man, I mean he looks like Jim Gordon, he totally had the Jim Gordon look to him.
Acts like him, had no issues.
Yeah, great.
Whatsoever.
I mean, Jeffrey Wright did phenomenal. I thought he was a damn good Jim Gordon. Great job at that. And I appreciated it. And and even just the conversations he had with Batman, right?
Yeah, I like the cooperation.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't really seen it to this extent in a Batman movie, but like he's allowing Batman to come in on crime scenes and everything. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it was good, man. And so I definitely liked that. I liked. I think Zoe Kravitz did a good job as Catwoman. What do you think about her?
Yeah, I liked her. She didn't bother me, and I thought she did a pretty good job. I could have done without the white privilege comment. That kind of took me out of it, and I'm like, why did you have to add that moment in here? You could have just said, like, rich scum, whatever, elite scum, but you had to throw the white thing in there, and I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, keep that crap out of our comics, I mean, and the thing is, they made her bisexual in this, but that didn't even bother me because Catwoman has always been an overly sexualized character, right? She's very sexual, overly sexualized. So the fact that they made her bisexual in this, I can see that. I can see Catwoman being bisexual. But then when they threw that white privilege comment in there,
I just don't need anything dealing with race in my comic book.
Exactly.
And I thought it was kind of ironic. She throws the rich white privilege thing out there, and then she tries to make out with Batman, who's Bruce Wayne, immediately afterwards. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Right, exactly.
But no, I thought she did a great job. And that did take me out of a moment, but that was just like one little thing, and then I moved past it. It's not like they sneak that in all throughout or anything. So I don't feel like they had like a specific agenda going on here or anything like that.
Yeah, I think she was a good Catwoman. I liked her better than Halle Berry. I think, as Catwoman. So
yeah, I think I liked her. Probably my favorite Catwoman. Probably better than Michelle Pfeiffer and all that as well.
She's definitely up there.
Now I will say, Alfred, I didn't really appreciate Andy Serkis's job as Alfred, and what they did with Alfred in general. Like Batman is kind of like an ass to Alfred in this, and I'm like, I'm not seeing that bond and everything like that in this, and Alfred doesn't even do much to really show he's taking care of Batman too much. So.
Right, no, exactly. Well, he and it kind of Alfred, kind of like we didn't see a lot of Bruce Wayne. We really didn't see a whole lot of Alfred in this either, right? I mean, he was kind of sidelined. It's kind of a secondary.
And I
person
like Andy Serkis, but
he's great.
This portrayal of Alfred did not impress me.
Well, I think his acting in it was great. I just think the way the writers did it, was just not right. I don't like the way they had him portray Alfred in this, and that's not his fault. That's that's the writers' fault and the way they wrote that character.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more of that, but this was no Michael Caine Alfred.
Oh no, dude.
Even the one with Michael Keaton or anything like that. I don't think so.
No, and again, that's all writing, man. In my eyes, I mean, like I said, for what they gave him, I think Andy Serkis did a great job of the acting. It just, and I think like in any other circumstance, he would have played a great Alfred. I think he probably would have played a great Alfred in the same one Michael Caine was Alfred in. But in this one, the way they wrote it, man, they didn't give him. Yeah, I just don't like the way they wrote Alfred in this movie. I really don't. Because like you said, he's supposed to be Bruce Wayne's caretaker. He's Bruce Wayne's parental figure. And he's always portrayed that way. But in this one, like you said, you really didn't see that, and you saw Bruce really just getting pissed off at him more than anything, for the most part. So
it was an odd scene where he Alfred gives him his cufflinks, and they have the Wayne insignia on. He's like, "Are you a Wayne?" And he's like, "Your dad gave me those." And he's like, "Okay."
Right, exactly.
But it's like, man, Alfred is family, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. I mean, this dude's taking care of you since you were little kids, since your parents were killed. So yeah, I didn't like that at all. They had that in there like that. But.
And I thought when Alfred's in the hospital, there was a realization like, I'm all Alfred has and he's all I have. Yep. But they didn't really do that too much there.
No, they didn't.
I thought that would have been like a light bulb. And Bruce Wayne's supposed to be like super smart, but he has issues with this and is even like saying wrong things to Alfred without thinking too much about him, which kind of surprised me a little bit.
So speaking of Bruce Wayne super smart, what'd you think about the whole detective aspect of this one? I mean, I do like the fact that they put in there, Detective Batman.
Well,
Batman
this was a detective movie for the most part.
For the most part.
This was like the movie Seven meets Batman.
Right, yeah.
So.
Yeah, a lot like that. Yeah, but I enjoyed that aspect of it, but I just still thought I was missing something, man. As I'm watching it, I just thought I still think they could have done better, and I can't put my finger on exactly what it was, but it was just missing something. I think maybe because it was just so long and drawn out with the whole detective game they were playing, I
was actually impressed by the story, and I like how kind of complicated and smartly written it was, that involved all these corrupt figures and brought it all the way around to Wayne and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. Like a movie like Uncharted that does like their adventure mystery very lazily. I thought this was much better than that. The mystery, the detective stuff was a huge highlight for me for this movie.
But when of course the action just really didn't do it for me. There was not. I mean, it was all just primarily your typical hand-to-hand combat. Not a lot of Batman using his toys or any of that. It was just. I
thought the toy uses was just as much as like the Christopher Nolan, and actually that's a point that's kind of weird to me, because the Batmobile is very like realistic, that someone might be able to put together
right,
themselves.
In this movie it was.
But meanwhile, he's got these contacts that can record anything, which is pretty far-fetched and not realistic at all. It's like, where's the battery coming for that? How is that eyepiece able to communicate with electronic? Like, that's pretty far-fetched, but meanwhile, you got a very realistic Batmobile, so you're kind of like playing both sides a little bit.
But then you never saw like the Batarang, you never saw his little freaking, his, what the hell's that thing
He had
called?
a grapple gun.
Okay, he did. You're right, he did have a grapple gun. But yeah, there was no Batarang, none of that stuff.
He had a lot of gear on him and stuff.
He just never used a lot of it.
He had like some kind of thing on like his thigh, and I'm like, what's that? Because it looks like that's where like a gun holster normally goes, but like I don't know what he was carrying around that entire time. And he had all kinds of stuff on his arm. I'm like, what's that about?
But I tell you what, man, that vest he has is probably the best bulletproof vest I've ever seen in my life, man. Because that thing, I mean, he's got dudes shooting.
It's flexible. Doesn't even take much hits.
And he's got dudes taking freaking machine guns at him point blank. I mean, full auto, just unloading on him, and he's just walking around like it's nothing. Like,
that's movies for you.
He's not even feeling the impact of it. Nothing. It's like, man.
Well, everyone's ears would be completely blown out because they're shooting indoors in a small hallway. So yeah.
So that was crazy, man. I was these dudes walking right, just get shot point blank, full auto, and just like, yeah, whatever, man. I was like, wow, that's the best damn freaking bulletproof stuff I've ever seen in my life, man. Give me some.
I do like how he takes some hits and stuff like that, and they show like him being bruised and kind of battered, and like, man, this guy's putting in some work.
Yeah, but he didn't. Yeah, but evidently those bullets didn't bruise and batter him. He just walked right through.
Good Kevlar, man.
He just walked right through him, point blank, man. Just walk right through those bullets, man. I was like, man, it's at least gonna knock you on your ass or knock you back a little bit, something, and you're gonna have some bruises on your chest, but not with this stuff, man.
What did you think about the Riddler?
It's not your typical Riddler.
No, it's definitely not.
It is not your typical
Penguin. It's not your typical Riddler.
You're right. Your Penguin was totally different, right? I mean, like I said, first of all, we couldn't tell it was Colin Farrell, but second of all, they didn't give him that real Penguin aspect that he gets in all the other movies, right? He didn't have his cane and his monocle and all that, and he didn't have
his little top hat. He just was kind of like a disfigured gangster.
Yeah, just a disfigured low-level gangster. And maybe it's because this is an earlier movie. Like we said, Gordon's not even commissioner yet, so maybe he'll progress into that. But yeah, right now he's just your right-hand man to the main gangster in this. I like the acting. I like this character. But at the same time, it was just not your typical Penguin. So I wasn't sure how I felt about that. But like I said, Colin Farrell did a great job acting. Didn't know it was Colin Farrell until after, and I was like, damn, that was Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
The acting was great. Riddler, his acting was good. But at the same time, Riddler is a charismatic person, right? Very charismatic, typically open character. He's riddling off the jokes. Riddle me this, which he never said in this, and actually another character said it to him in this later on in the movie. And but in this one, he's a recluse. He's a complete recluse.
Yeah.
He's a super introverted. He's a homebody. It's like he lived in his mom's basement kind of person. And he's got his little fan following online, and he's just going around killing people. He's got a reason why he's doing it. Okay, so I understand that, but I don't like how they made him reclusive and how they took away that charismatic Riddler kind of aspect of it. Now I don't dislike the character itself. I don't dislike the acting. The guy did an okay job acting. But I just kind of was thrown off a little bit by the way they did him in this and had made him just as introverted recluse, So
I actually like what they did here because they provided a logical reason why he would be a recluse.
Oh, they did.
Stuff like that. Now his costume he looked like a gimp or something like that. And so but I get for what they were going for with it, so it kind of worked. And yeah, it's not your typical Riddler, but they're trying to be more realistic. It seems like with everything they're doing here. So
yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I liked the character, but I just did not like the fact that they went so far away from the original Riddler.
I actually liked his plan and everything too.
His plan was cool.
And like this movie it doesn't really wrap it up in a nice like package for you too. And I like that aspect as well. I mean, at first I was wondering, why is the Riddler such a big deal? Because he's killed like 1 or 2 people. Like, but I guess it's who he's killing would get the attention. So
right, exactly, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and I definitely enjoyed that. I enjoy the fact that at least that they gave him a solid plan. And they made him smart, at least. I mean, he's a super smart kid, in this movie, and he's young, right? I mean, you got a young Riddler. Penguin seems a little older, but Riddler's definitely a young kid. He's in his early 20s, and they're kind of like the same way they're portraying Bruce Wayne, and just super smart dude who is, able to just come up with this ingenious plan of how to kind of take down all the rich people in Gotham, right? So, who...
And I liked his relationship with Batman, and Batman's like, oh, man, this dude, is he playing me?
Right. Or the relationship he thought he had with Batman, right? Because he was kind of thinking,
I don't know if that was like a joke he was doing kind of like to tease him, or if he was serious about that, because everything he kind of played out anyway. So
Right, exactly.
But I don't know. I really liked how this movie started off though with a tone where like people are like looking into the shadows and they think cool. Batman's everywhere.
Was cool, yeah.
I like how they went into that, and you haven't really seen movies do that too well. And the fear of Batman, I thought was really cool how they showed that.
And it kind of progressed from just different low-level criminals and doing their crimes, and they're like looking around, like looking at the shadows for Batman. Yeah,
you see the bat signal, and they're like, "Holy crap!" Is Batman in the shadows?
Did he just see me jack this old lady's purse?
I like that aspect because that's what Batman tries to do with that.
Oh yeah. He instills that fear in him, and of course, what does he call it in this? Right? He's like, "I'm vengeance." Right, which kind of ends up coming to bite him in the butt later on, and he realizes that. But at the same time, it's kind of what he is, right? He's going around, doing, avenging people who are getting wronged, the best way he can, when nobody else is doing it, right? Cops are all corrupt; they're not helping out. So he's like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna take matters in my own hands and do it." So, yeah, I enjoy. I mean, I enjoy the dark aspect of it. I enjoyed that. I just, and maybe right. Maybe it was because I saw it earlier in the week and I was tired after work, but it was just, for me, it was missing something. Man.
Well, that's the main issue. If the biggest flaw with this movie is it's too long.
Too long, yeah, way too long. Absolutely.
If you could boil this down to like 2 hours and 20 minutes and make it real tight and cut some of those scenes you don't need of them driving off in the sunset and just shorten all that kind of stuff, this would be a much better movie for it.
I agree, absolutely.
So what do you rate this thing? What do you rate it?
I've had a lot of time to think about it because I've seen it, before you did. And I walked out of it just not with a feel good, not with a warm and fuzzy, walking out of the theater. But, I do like, I did like the fact that they actually made this a real Batman detective movie, where a lot of Batman movies aren't.
The best one
they
probably
like
for that.
completely get rid of the detective stuff, in a lot of the movies. And that's Batman. Batman's a detective, you need to have that stuff in there. So I do appreciate that. I just, it just misses something for me, man. So I'm gonna give it a 7. I'll give it a 7. To me, it wasn't great, and I wanted it to be. I think that's the big thing for me. I wanted this movie to be great, man. I was like, man, I'm walking in here to see a 3-hour movie, and I got early access. Man, this is gonna be great. And what did it for me too was the fact that nobody in my theater was packed. It was early access theater was packed. We were laughing every now and then. So there were some couple funny things said in the movie. But like when it was over, nobody was clapping. Nobody was like, yeah. Everybody was just kind of looking around like, and everybody got up and walked out. And like nobody, like in my theater, it's like nobody felt it. It was like nobody was feeling the movie, and I was right there with them. But yeah, I was gonna go to the lower one. I was gonna give it like a 6, but it was a good movie. The acting was great, and and it had a good plan. And so I'm giving it a 7. I wish I wanted to give it higher. I wanted to do this one to be like a 9, man. I was like hoping I was gonna get like a 9 out of this movie, and I was disappointed that it wasn't.
I saw this at noon, and there was maybe like 5 of us in the theater, and I was kind of hesitant at the length of the movie, and you kind of gave it a semi-bad review to me in my head, so I'm like,
right.
Oh, this ain't gonna be good, long movie, boring, but I was pleasantly surprised. This captures the feeling of a Christopher Nolan Batman movie. Robert Pattinson did amazing while he was in the suit. Like I said, there's some issues for me when he's Bruce Wayne, but that didn't take away too much from the movie for me because it's just a really good detective movie, and he played Batman so well in the suit. I love that, like, he's trying to watch out for civilians and not harm them. I'm glad they went back to that compared to that Justice League kind of stuff. So this is a 9 to me. If this was shorter, it would have been just as good to me as the Christopher Nolan series. So I really liked it. I liked the portrayal. It was good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. It just didn't line up for me for 8 or 9, man. And I wanted it to so bad.
Every movie doesn't work for everybody.
Again, and I think it just goes too long. I mean, had it been shortened down to about 2 hours, I probably would have given it 8 or 9. but there was just too much fluff in there that didn't need to be in there, and stuff that was just kind of drawn out. And when you're sitting in a movie theater for 3 hours, like, damn, I got to take a piss, but I don't want to miss anything.
Well, the other thing, even though I really, really enjoyed this movie, like, the length makes it hard for a rewatch. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if someone's like, "Hey, I want to watch Batman," I'm like, now I'm committed to 3 hours here.
Oh, exactly.
You know, so.
Yeah, man. But 9. Wow.
Yeah, this hit on all cylinders. This is what I want in a Batman movie. That they captured the right tone. I'm glad to see the detective.
Yeah, that
and the
was
Riddler
good.
bringing in that. So maybe there'll be more action in the next one, and I'd be completely fine with that.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope there is more action in the next one.
I love that they showed Commissioner Gordon's relationship with Batman. We haven't seen one like this type before.
It's a Detective Gordon in this one. He ain't Commissioner yet.
Yep.
So yeah, right. I agree. I definitely love that aspect. I liked, and like I said, Jeffrey Wright, phenomenal Gordon, man. That dude played Gordon great. Thought it was awesome. So. And
I'm looking forward to seeing more of these type of movies with these characters. So.
Yeah, with more action and not 3 hours long. There you go. All right, guys. Well, that is our wrap up of the Batman. We hope you enjoy watching us. Please, if you checked out this movie, let us know what you thought.
Definitely comment and tell us how crazy this guy is for even considering giving it a 6.
Yeah, nah, man. I don't know, man.
I really think it's how you go into this. If you go in late and you're kind of tired, it's not going to go well for you.
Yeah, because it just makes for a long night. Yeah, because I mean, the movie started at 7, it wasn't over till 10, then I had to drive home. So yeah, no, that's true. But either way, let us know what you think, and try to change my mind, I guess, on this one. But hey, guys, we appreciate you, and we will check you at our next review.
See you guys. This guy's crazy.
Damn, audience score 90%, higher than the critics 85.
Yeah. It's good, man.
And where's Colin Farrell in there?
He played it pretty good. I like where the car's jacked up, and he's like, "Yeah, I got you, I got you, son of a bitch." He's like, "Ah,
I got you, son of a bitch."
They don't arrest him for causing like a pile up and shooting at cops or whatever he does. It's like, you're good. Well, if you were eccentric and smiling and have a good time being a playboy, then people probably be like, that ain't Batman. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, well, it's funny.
Yeah, I was like, I guess he doesn't know. But it's a good thing Batman wasn't like, you know who I am? What do you mean? Oh, crap!
You're Bruce! Shit! How'd I miss that?
Guys, we got Bruce Wayne here! I didn't understand how Batman was focusing in on the carpet thing, too. Like, this thing has to be some kind of clue to a bigger picture. And the guy's like, yeah, that's used to rip up carpet. And you're like, son of a bitch! There you go. This poor bastard's drawing on the floor, got to cover it with carpet and do all this stuff. Oh, that's a lot of work for a master plan.
It's supposed to be Riddler, man. Make a different character for that, I guess. You want to make another villain who's an orphan and does that shit, then cool, But
You want to see goddamn him with a shirt that has question marks all over the place. That's what you want.
His name was Enigma in this either.
What do you think about those contacts?
They said Tony Stark made those. Okay,
Where's the power source? It's got Wi-Fi or Bluetooth built into it because it's transmitting to his van or transmitting to something on her person that's transmitting to either way, it's transmitting. I'm like, come on, man. If you can make these contacts, the sky's the limit. I'm like, CIA be knocking on your door left and right, like, God damn, we gotta get these contacts.
Yeah. How much money you want?
Do you even charge these? Like, is that an unlimited power source? How does this work? I mean, it's kind of cool how they used them, but I'm just kind of like, everything is so like realistic, but these contacts, for the most part.
I did like that at least they tried dumbing it down a little bit, showing it kind of in like kind of an orangish hue,
Well, at least it wasn't like fucking 8K or something.
Right. Exactly.
You do that with like hot chicks, he's like,
Right.
They took that concept and went further with it.
Yeah.
And like, Alfred never brought my man a sandwich or anything. What kind of butler are you? Bring my man a goddamn sandwich or some food or something. He's bringing himself food and shit. He's like coming with a glass. He's like, let me solve this riddle for you.
Walking over some burritos.
You want some of these? The kitchen's that way.
Go there.
He's like, make yourself a goddamn sandwich. That's why you don't like him. He's a mooch. He's not even a butler in this one. He's like,
like I said, I wanted to like it, man. It could have been good.
I wanted to like it.
I wanted to love this movie, dang it. I wanted to love some Batman. Now, one thing I would say is, I mean, Home Skillet, Robert Pattinson did all right. I think he did okay, but I still didn't understand the whole young Batman thing, though. Because at the end, you saw the Joker.
And he didn't tell that great of a joke.
No, he didn't. Who the hell was Matthew McConaughey? Was he the Joker?
I don't remember who it was, but
Well, it says Matthew McConaughey was in it.
He's like, let me tell you a joke. How do you lose a guy in 10 days? I don't know, man. Maybe he played Catwoman.
Next Catwoman, Matthew McConaughey. Yes.
The Batman.
So,
and then they had like, I thought I was watching The Hitman in the beginning. I was like, you know, all that kind of like church opera stuff. I was like, it's a Hitman movie, and they got the binoculars going. I was like, this reminds me of Hitman.
Right. Another part I didn't get is, you know, when it was showing that gang of thugs that are running around punching people, and it's got the one kid, like, keeps focusing on him, like, you tell he's new and he's not really wanting to do it. And then the Batman's looking at him like, oh, maybe this kid's going to play a role in this movie. And then,
Yeah, well, I think he's going to play, he's playing Two-Face, actually.
Yeah.
That's why only half his face
is covered in makeup, yeah. Oh, man.
I'm vengeance. That's pretty good, right?